It's finally fight week, so I feel like the man. And I'm getting all my picks right, so I feel like a fan. And I'm wearing all white, but I'm not with the clan. Thanks Scooby-Doo the way I'm going to be riding with Van. Yeah, baby, yeah, guys. Listen, my bar's really good. One of these days, they're going to make a compilation, guys. I need to tell you guys something that I know that you maybe know or maybe don't. I know Joshua Van's going to beat Alexandre Pantoja, guys, this weekend. And it's a little secret. I feel like I'm hiding something from the world, You guys ever feel like you know something other people don't know? And I get, dude, Kenny, you got this pick wrong and that pick wrong. And nah. You got the... Listen, guys, I'm telling you right now, if you're not on the 24-year-olds bandwagon, get on it right now, brother. I'm 23, he's 24. We're practically brothers. We're both handsome. We look good. We're strong. We look nice, I know Joshua Van on paper, stylistically, is better than him. And not even just on paper, via eye test everywhere. I know Joshua Van's going to beat Pantoja. The youngster's going to beat the oldster. And no one's going to agree with me because they're going to be like, dude, the resume of Pantoja. The resume of Pantoja, the people Pantoja's beating, this, that, and the third. You guys just don't get it. And I will say, Joshua Van's it's a weird talent because people aren't really this talented at the age of 24. He's going to be like one of the youngest champions in UFC history outside of like John Jones. And like, because this, in the modern era for sure, the youngest I've ever seen. He's such a unique talent. And he's literally, like, Joshua Van is tailor-made to destroy Alexandre Pantoja, in my opinion. In this video, I'm going to let you know why, and you're going to realize it by the end of this video. Everything I'm saying is true. So without further ado, let's get into it. First, I want to talk about the hard truth about Pantoja before we even get to the Joshua Van glaze, before we get to all that stylistic breakdown as well. This is the hard truth about Pantoja, guys. He's great, but with major deficiencies. And I say he's great because he knows how to win, and he has a championship mindset. I actually think Pantoja's mindset is better than his actual fighting skill and ability. That might sound like a little bit like, what are you even talking about? Pantoja just has the right mindset, which is why he's one of my favorite fighters, guys. I only picked against him once. He was a Kai Car France pick. Yes, a horrible pick, I know. I was riding the hype train because I had to stick with my guy, but I love Pantoja because he has the fighter mindset and he goes in there every time and he fights. He's not the most skilled, but he just dogs people. And that's what gets him the wins. But I do want to point out the fact that I think his last couple wins are overrated. The last 3 wins specifically. Urseg, Asakura, and Kai Car France. Now, the Urseg win, I think people are starting to realize now it's a little bit more overrated because that was a very controversial, it was one of his controversial wins. I thought Pantoja won, but I do say, oh, dude, Urseg got it done, man. It was a robbery. It wasn't a robbery. I thought it was a close fight, of course. But so is like we're going to get into it, like how every like name value, everyone like that Pantoja goes against whose actual real name value is always going to be close for the most part. But close one with Urseg. The Asakura fight, I still don't know why people are gassing it up. He's going to submit. He's going to submit him because he submitted Asakura. No one does that to Asakura except Tim Elliott. except Tim Elliott. No one does that to Asakura except for anyone in the UFC. That one's so overrated. I feel like people should understand now that this guy just got brought into the UFC to get rear naked choked. Like, I don't know his other, what, can I name another purpose that he came here other than getting rear naked choked? I can't. Maybe you can. He's just known for getting rear naked choked. So I don't really look at the Asakura win and like applaud it as much as you guys do, I guess. Like, I guess I see what you guys are trying to do, saying, who does that to Asakura? Well, Tim Elliott and everyone else, they do it to Asakura. That's the truth. Kai Car France win was so weird to me because I watched the fight back today, guys. I think Kai Car France looked like the worst version of himself he ever looked like. Like, this is just the worst version of Kai Car France. As well as, like, it wasn't the best version of Pantoja. I might have to, like, give Pantoja cut him some slack because he looked so not even bad. Like, he took down Kai, controlled him. Guys, he faded pretty bad in the Kai Car France fight. I think it was because he put him in a backpack, maybe, but, like, in the second round, it was just very sloppy from both guys. Like, the way Pantoja was throwing, like, with his chin in the air, so flat-footed. I was like, what's going on? And like, that looked like such low-level flyweight. That looked like low-level flyweight fights. I feel like lately we've been seeing high-level flyweights like Manil Kat put on performances, some of these other guys that when I saw that fight, I was like, what the hell? Like, that looked a little weird. Like, they just didn't look like the best in the world. That's how I felt in that fight. Maybe other people have different, maybe like, no, that was high level. That was the best. That looked like lowest level of championship fight in flyweight I've ever seen in my life. Kai Car France was just like throwing, like he was literally dropping to a knee, throwing overhands. And then, like, Pantoja was just sloppy all over the place on the feet. Looked really goofy with this same Pantoja blitz and all that. But very interesting fight style. But nonetheless, he wins. And then, like, the last point I said, like, he has many controversial wins. The Moreno, Royval, and Usyk fight were all championship fights that went the distance. They were all really close. At the end of those fights, no one had a unanimous decision. Even if the judges had a unanimous, the crowds were split, the fans were split, because Pantoja fights, like the way he fights, he takes so much damage, guys, because like he just kind of walks forward with that like blitzing style that a lot of his opposition is hitting him just as much as he's hitting them, and he might take them down and stuff and hold them. What got him the win over every one of these guys is the wrestling. I'll be real, like Royval was destroying him on the feet. Pantoja could not stand with Royval. If he didn't take down Royval, that fight was like as good as done already, you know. But of course, we know Royval's a good striker, but I know who's a better striker than Royval. We're gonna talk about that in a little bit. And I could even, like you know, too, brother. Don't look at me like that. I know you smile behind your screen, guys. He's going in there with these guys who are good. Moreno's great. You know, Royval's great. These are all great people. Urseg's there. Yeah, Urseg's there. You know, but he's having these controversial fights with these guys. And I just know Joshua Van's better than everyone I mentioned, guys. Yes, Royval, because we've seen that. Yes, Urseg, because let's be real. Audie Osborne was whooping Urseg too. You know, better than Pantoja half that fight. Let's be real. There's just so many things I could point to, guys. Like, where I just know Joshua Van's going to be a different opponent than Pantoja is anticipating. Maybe you are too. Now, let's talk about the hard truth about Van. Because we just talked about the hard truth about Pantoja. Let's talk about Van. He's handsome. he's handsome. Look at him, man. Yeah, baby. Yeah, that's my boy. All right, for real though, brother. He's the best boxer in the UFC, guys. I do think he's actually the best boxer. People say Ilya Taporia, guys. I kid you not. I watched back his Royval fight today. I watched back his Tsusura fight. I was watching like a lot of fights with him. He's so reactive. I love the way he boxes because he reacts so quickly and he gets to the counterpunch so well. And when he gets these combos going and he grows in confidence, he's so dangerous. What's unique about him is that a lot of people counter off the back foot, whereas his counterpunching is like he's walking forward constantly and then he waits for you to throw and he slips and rips, and then he keeps the forward pressure coming. He's very overwhelming to deal with, and it's probably the cleanest boxing I've ever seen in the UFC. He honestly blows my mind the more I see him, guys. And I also said he's battle-tested. This is the hard truth that people don't want to point to. They're never going to say he's battle-tested because they're going to be like, what do you mean he's battle-tested? Like, who's he beaten? Or who's he fought? Royval's a great fight. Like, that's a great fight to battle-test. He beat Royval better than Pantoja did. Pantoja needed to wrestle, of course, to beat him. You know, Van showed an oblique kicks. He showed a new kicking game in that. He showed great boxing against a taller, longer, rangy opponent. He went in there and beat Royval, or what Royval's best at. You know, striking and cardio and volume. Van beat him in all those things. Tsusura's a really good fight that people aren't going to understand. Because him and Tsusura are both like, 24? That was the first fight where it was two people born in the 2000s who fought each other. They were both very young. People don't understand that Ray Tsusura is like the next generation of like Asian grapplers. Like, guys, his wrestling. I don't know if you've seen the takedowns he had on Van in that fight. Those are shit that Pantoja could not do if he tried. Like, those takedowns, like those throws were just amazing. They were like high level. Never seen before. And Tsusura just couldn't hold him down. You just can't hold down Van. I've noticed that about him. You try to take him down, he's such a short guy naturally, so he has a strong, compact base. It's like trying to hold down Volk. Like some of these shorter guys who are just not willing to just stay there. It's very hard to deal with. Also, Kevin Borjas is a really good name. Cody Durden. Like, he's been in there with some names that even you guys will recognize. You'll be like, oh shit, these guys are legit. So I want you guys to know, just because he's young and he's fought everyone. And he's been in there with the best. Like, he's been in there with people, and especially his performance against Royval showed me that he can go in there with the best and not only beat them, but beat them and end it with a statement. Like the way he dropped Royval at the very end of the fight. But I still remember my reaction to that day. I went fucking nuts when I saw that happen. That shit blew my mind. Joshua Van, you just don't do that to Royval, who's someone who's known for like accumulating volume and like breaking people with his cardio. Van is just really special. So that's the hard truth about both of them. Now let's get into the stylistic breakdown, starting with the striking comparison. First and foremost, for the striking comparison, Pantoja's aggressive forward combos. I put it in red because I want to emphasize something. That forward aggressive combo striking style doesn't work on specific styles. It didn't work against Figgy. He tried that against Figgy. He would get countered to an oblivion because Figgy is a good counterpuncher and lands hard. So it's going to be the aggressive forward combos versus Van's clean cut counter boxing with great combos. Now, if you're going to just run against, it's like watching Charles fight Ilya, and it's like, okay, surely Charles is going to change up his fight style a little bit. But you know deep down Charles is incapable of changing his fight style up a little bit. So we kind of already knew Charles was going to walk in there against Ilya and kind of just trade with him. That's what Pantoja is going to do. Now, there's going to be people in the comments like, but surely you would think Pantoja is going to be smart enough to change this. No, he's not. Look at anyone Pantoja's fought. He's been fighting the same his whole career. It's not that his fight style actually changed. It's just that his grit got more gritty, you know? It's like his grit got more grittier. Like, he's still like, oh, he's the same guy, but like a little bit more intent and like, yeah, I'm going to get you. You know, that's what he does. Still the aggressive forward combos with him. Like, he's going to be 1, 2, 3. And sometimes he enter with a low kick. That's what he was doing well against Kai Kara-France. He would just jump, and then low kick. And Kai Kara-France is one of those counter strikers. I was watching him at the fight and I was very frustrated with him because he would do something where like he just jumps back. Like, Pantoja would do this combo, he would just jump back and not throw. I like Van because he doesn't jump back. Like, he finds an angle, he slips, and then he rips. That's what's going to be a problem for Pantoja when he's just coming forward. A lot of people who just jump back, like Urseg, like Roy Val does it sometimes as well. Kai Kara-France, it gives Pantoja momentum because he knows if he blitzes forward, you're gonna just back up against the fence, and that's when he's gonna shoot a takedown, which happened to Kai Kara-France. The thing about Van, he will have moments where he like hops back to like find an angle, but he's never gonna just jump back and not throw. He's always looking for some kind of slip and rip, and that's what he's gonna do against someone like Pantoja. So I actually think Pantoja's aggressive forward combo style is gonna be horrible to do against someone as clean and precise as Van. So it's gonna lead to Alexandre Pantoja getting caught with a lot of crisp boxing exchanges. I also said Pantoja's chin's always exposed with his reckless entries. His chin's so high. Like, I swear, an uppercut's gonna send this guy up doing triple backflip to heaven, bro. His chin is like abnormally high. And then I said Van has he's oddly accurate with speed power. What's speed power? I'm not saying Van's like some kind of one punch machine, but Van, like, it's like, I call it like, it's a mix of speed and power. And like weird precision that like when he lands on you, it's thudding and it hurts, and you can get hurt by it, and you will get hurt by it. And I know Pantoja will get hurt by it. It's not that I'm not saying Van hits like a truck and he's going to do something crazy to Pantoja. You're going to see you're going to see my prediction at the end of the video. I know Pantoja has a good chin, guys, but trust me when I say the speed mixed with the power of Van is going to be what is going to hurt Pantoja the most. It's the punches you don't see coming that are oddly accurate with crazy speed and some nice power behind it that hurt you the most. It's not even just the people who wing those hard punches that hurt you the most. Trust me when I say Van's accuracy is going to be a problem. So I said Van is clearly superior in the striking. Like, striking, we could compare. Yeah, well, no. If it's a striking match, we know what's happening. We know Joshua Van's clearly superior in the striking, but let's talk about the grappling. As for the grappling, you're going to see a lot of green because I think both guys do things really well in the grappling. I'd say Pantoja has great offensive wrestling. Like, his offensive wrestling is amazing. Like, when he gets a hold, not always amazing, but like when he gets a hold of you, chances are if he times it well, you're going down. But I also said Van's great reactivity on his takedown defense. He's so quick. I've seen Van like in the middle of throwing a strike, and then he sprawls out like a fucking animal. It's because his center of gravity is so low because he's already naturally a shorter guy and he's so reactive. The reactivity shows in his counterboxing as well as his takedown defense, which is very important because I actually think he's going to have very like a speed advantage over Pantoja in both the grappling and striking. When I say grappling, I don't mean like he's going to out grapple him quicker, but I mean like when Pantoja shoots, by the time he's shooting, I already know like Van's going to be sprawled because Van's reactivity in his sprawl is just, it's unlike any other. He could be in the middle of a combo, he's going to sprawl really quickly, and it's just hard to like get a hold of his hips fully. So it's going to be a really hard time for Pantoja to actually secure control time, I feel like, against Van. But I also said Pantoja does have great control. So when Pantoja does get someone down, if he gets a backpack or something, he does a good job of controlling you. You know, backpack's probably his best chance at controlling Van because Van is very hard to control in any other position. You know, I've seen Van in full guard just get up because he didn't want to be there anymore. You know, Van's just not someone you can control in side control. You know, like JDM got control. You just can't really do that to Van. Like, he's just like, he'll always get up or he find a way against the fence to get back to his feet. You know, the only thing Van has to be careful about is the backpack. That's something I know Pantoja can control him in. Without the backpack, I don't see Pantoja really controlling Van for that long a period of time. Van just does a really good job getting to his hips, and he's just strong, and he has like a good base under him that he always gets back to his feet pretty well. So it's going to be hard for Pantoja if his goal is just to, like, yeah, let me just take him down and control him, unless he secures a backpack. Without that backpack, trust me when I say Pantoja will have a very hard time controlling Joshua Van, and it's going to lead to him getting absolutely destroyed on the feet. So I did say Pantoja is superior in the grappling because Van's not wicked experienced, but I do think if he's not a backpack, you're not going to control Van. I am scared that if Van gets in the backpack, he might be a little bit lost and flustered because, you know, he's just not used to being in dominant positions on the ground. But outside of that, I think Pantoja's in for a really rough night if he thinks he's just going to go in there and just grapple and control Joshua Van, because chances are that's just not happening, you know. It's not happening, you know. Moving on from this, though, I want to talk about things I want to know. Pantoja slowed bad in the Kai Kara-France fight, guys. Like, bat. Please look at that fight. Look at how much he slowed, and look at like his body, how he would react to stuff after that. It was horrible. And I actually said Van has the cardio advantage. People will disagree with this, dude, what do you mean, baby? Who been 5 rounds more? I don't even need to see Van go 5 rounds multiple times or 5 rounds. I saw him against Brandon Royval. Guys, look at the pace of that 3-round fight. Look at the pace of that 3-round fight. Look at the first 3 rounds. Look at the pace Van kept up. Then look at the first couple rounds of Pantoja and Kaikar France, and tell me who looked better. Van fought at a higher pace and a higher output, and he still had more endurance than Pantoja. And he went against someone like Royval, who's going to put some crazy pace and cardio on you. So I don't think it's a hot take per se to say that Van has a cardio advantage over someone like Pantoja when he out-cardioed Royval, who's known for having that crazy cardio because he's training in the fucking crazy altitude day in and day out. But he went there against Van and went volume for volume and still got out cardio because Van was even able to drop him at the very final bell. Then I said Pantoja is very predictable in his blitz, and he's pretty much tailor-made to get KO'd by Van. These are things to note. I want you guys to take notes because I know people are going to be talking about the chin, but when I say tailor-made is tough to beat. Like, when I was saying that Ankalaev in the first fight, like Ankalaev and Pereira, like, I'm not going to lie, just Ankalaev stylistically was tailor-made to beat Pereira. Of course, he lost a rematch, but you guys know what I mean when that straight punches happen to be Pereira's biggest weakness. The fact that Van's such a good counter striker, and this guy just comes in with those goofy blitzes, it's like he wants to get KO'd by Van. It's like if I had to make a fighter to knock out and destroy Pantoja, I would just create Van. Hard to take down, hard to hold down, with crazy reactivity in his boxing. Crazy counter striker. I would make Van, and guess what? He's going to win. And this is why he's going to win, because tailor-made to get KO'd by Van. People are saying it's crazy now, but trust me when I say, if Pantoja doesn't switch up his game plan, or like how he fights usually, there's just no way he beats him. Unless he just somehow secures a backpack position, which brings me to my next point. What I know was going to happen in this fight. I know Van's going to drop and hurt Pantoja. I know this. Like, I could put any amount of bread on this that I know it's going to happen. Van did drop Pantoja in this fight. Van did hurt Pantoja in this fight. Van damn near probably knocked out Pantoja in this fight, and I wouldn't be surprised. I know Pantoja has a really good chin, so it's hard to see if he fully gets knocked out, but I know Van hurt him. And I can really see Van finishing him after he hurts him, but I just know this happened, and I can put any amount of money. I can put my channel on it. Let me chill, Let me chill, but I'm being dead ass. I just know it's going to happen. Also said there could be a round, though, where Pantoja controls him, but it would have to be a backpack. If he does get control for a round, it's a backpack. If not, that doesn't happen. So this might not happen, but if it's a backpack, I know Pantoja controlled him. Thirdly, I said Pantoja will fade and it will look bad visually. Like, he's going to fade to the point where, like, his arms are down and, like, you're going to start to see a portion of the fight where now it's Van just walking him down. And Pantoja just looks so bad, and Pantoja just like panic shooting, getting stuffed, and it's gonna look really bad. I just don't see how is Van not gonna TKO this guy. Like, I know people are like, dude, I'm telling you guys, I know the chin's great, but when I say Van can KO Pantoja, I am not trolling, brother. I'm not saying this just to be a little bit different, brother. I mean this. Brother, I don't lie. I'm a handsome, strong guy. I never lie my whole life. I really see him fading bad, and that's when Van's going to pressure after stuffing. He's going to stuff the takedowns, pressure. And over time, you're going to see, like, Pantoja probably against the fence. Might even quit on himself with a TKO as well. Then I said Van's takedown defense will surprise many, but not little old me. Damn, this is why I can't laugh when I'm sick, because then I start coughing. Bro, Van's takedown defense is going to surprise a lot of people, but not me, bro. Not little old me, because I know how good of a defensive wrestler he is, and I know it's easy to say, but you got taken on by this guy and that guy. Guys, to take down Van, the amount of effort it takes, I'm telling you, it's going to do more, it's going to do more pain to Pantoja than actual pain to Van. Van can stuff these all days and go all day. Like, he has great endurance. I'm telling you right now, the failed takedowns are going to be what ultimately breaks him. It's going to be the combos, of course, but, like, the failed takedowns is going to be the reason he gets finished here. Because he's going to be getting put it on him, and he's going to go for takedowns, getting him stuffed. And then I think that's when Van's going to put it on him. So that ultimately leads me to what the result of this fight going to be. I think it's obvious, man. I think this result is something everyone should know and acknowledge. Van will 100% beat him by KO or points. There's no if, whats, or buts about it. And I know Pantoja has a chin, but KO is so likely. It's crazy. And I know that me saying this now, I'm going to get laughed at in the comments, but that's supposed to happen. Because you're not supposed to go in there and knock out Pantoja. He has a great chin. But when I say when he's tailor-made to get finished and knocked out, it's just gonna happen. And I'm not just picking him off a puncher's chance. It's just that the way he blitzes in is so irresponsible compared to a clean, concise counter striker. And I just know when he's stuffing the takedowns of Pantoja, and Pantoja's getting lazy like he always does in most of his fights and starts to fatigue, I know Van's going to keep up that forward pressure, which is going to lead to him catching with some clean punches. I just have a hard time seeing Pantoja survive. If Pantoja survives 25 minutes with Van, I'll be impressed. That's what I'll be impressed the most about. I don't see Van, the 24-year-old, losing to the seasoned veteran. I know it sounds crazy to say right now, and I know I'm probably one of the few people who are saying it right now, but I really believe that Joshua Van is just tailor-made to put a bad beating on Pantoja. If Pantoja doesn't come as in like the best version of himself, he's not going to win. And I don't think he's at that physical capabilities to be the best version of himself against Joshua Van. Joshua Van is going to be a 24-year-old world champion in less than a week, guys. So I'm telling you right now, this fight week, you guys better be excited. Get happy, guys, because in little bit 6 days, Joshua Van's going to be world champion. And we're going to know, I'm going to know, and we're going to stay handsome, strong. We're going to look good, and we're going to be world champion. Let me know what you guys think down below, though. That's it for me, and God bless. 2, 3.